granniopteryx, she knows the truth, she's linking every link.
Hello. One of the aspects of the Free Palestine religion, which is infecting the Western world right now, is its, as with many things Muslim, I'm afraid, is its plundering of the catastrophes afflicting other people in the world. The UNRWA budget, remember UNRWA is a refugee organisation set up by the UN only for Palestinian refugees, while the UNHCR is the one that deals with everyone else in the world. Okay, the UNRWA budget for Gaza outpays the UN budget for any other sort of refugee in any other part of the world. And there are plenty of parts of the world devastated by wars they didn't start and natural disasters for which they could not prepare. So it is that idiots are parading in British streets this is in Leeds city centre apparently, to right imaginary wrongs in Gaza at the same time as Nigeria is being subjected to October the 7th type attacks almost daily. And while those Leeds LARPers in their kaffirs raise funds and bang drums for a bunch of genocidal warmongers, they are robbing the world's attention from the truly deserving issues in other parts of the world. I'm Granniopteryx. Please like this video, please share it, please subscribe to my channel. Oh, do that, go on. Click the notification bell. That helps keep your subscription working, apparently. And if you want to contribute financially, that's lovely. All the methods by which you can do that are listed in the description. But really, click like and you'll give me a big hand anyway. All right, let's talk about what's happening in Nigeria. It says here, gunmen abduct more than 200 pupils from the Nigerian Catholic school. Gunmen. Yeah, not Muslim fanatics. Gunmen. That's the BBC for you. More than 200 pupils were kidnapped from a Catholic school in central Nigeria on Friday, the second mass school kidnapping this week. In the northeast, jihadist groups have been battling the state for more than a decade. Organisations monitoring violence say most of the victims of these groups are Muslim because most attacks happen in the north. And Nigeria has faced a renewed wave of attacks by armed groups in recent days, including the kidnapping on Monday of more than 20 schoolgirls who the BBC has been told are Muslim from a boarding school in neighbouring Kebbi State. But let's get back to this for a moment. 200 children. 200 children. Children. When insurgents of any sort go for the soft target of children, which they frequently do, they are doing two things. First, they're descending to the lowest and most gutless of human types in declaring war on those least able to defend themselves, while of course minimising their own casualties. This is of course by no means confined to Islamists. A coward is a coward, and cowards are to be found in any society. School shooters in the US are the same thing. But Islamists are far and away the most prolific of this type. The reason being that such attacks bring no sense of guilt to an Islamist, and such people are often much admired by those of his co-religionists who wouldn't do it themselves, but, as I say, admire these others who do. Because Islam has a by any means necessary attitude to the spreading of its ideology. It's a win-win situation for them. Of course, either the children are killed and so prevent the next generation of heretics, or if captured alive, these children can be reprogrammed and used as child soldiers or breeding machines. So apart from the benefit of keeping up the supply of enslaved abductees, the second advantage to this policy of stealing children is to tear the hearts out of the people they're victimising, in this case, the Christian people of Nigeria. There can be nothing more demoralising to any civilization than the snatching away of the next generation. You know, anyone who's read Arthur C. Clarke's novel Childhood's End will be aware of his accurate observation that when the children have gone, the adults have nothing to live for anymore. What are we here for, if not for our children? And this includes even those who don't have their own children. And here we see 200 of them snatched away from their homes, their families and their settled lives. 200 families devastated. 200 young souls traumatised. As I said, in this same article, you see a story about 20 Muslim schoolgirls abducted from a boarding school in Kebbi State in Nigeria just last week. I'm not sure that wasn't just included by the BBC correspondent in order to try to balance out the abduction of the Christians. But apart from the unequal numbers, there is another observation I can make here, and that is it simply proves that Islam is as dangerous, poisonous and vicious to other Muslims as it is to anyone else. And if you look at the Arab world right now, I think events rather do bear me out. No doubt the subhumans who abducted the 20 Muslim schoolgirls see the education of girls as a blasphemy against their god of ignorance. I don't know whether the vermin who did this particular attack were Boko Haram, but it doesn't matter whether they were specifically from that pack or not. They were obviously a repellent bunch of psychopathic hyenas, just like Boko Haram. I shall remind you, the name Boko Haram means books are haram. Boko, a Nigerian word for book, something the Nigerians didn't have until the Brits showed up, and so they borrowed the word. And the second word is haram, which is the Arabic for forbidden. Now, since most of my viewers are pretty bright, I should think most of you have now observed to yourself that while the Christian Brits, together with their other less admired practices, brought books to Nigeria, the Arabs brought the late Muslim concept of knowledge of anything other than the Quran being forbidden. And Boko Haram is an Islamic cult in which the worship is towards the great god of savage illiteracy. You might wonder how that happened. Well, that's because they were colonised and enslaved and indoctrinated by the Arab hordes which have been predating on African peoples for hundreds, actually for thousands of years. And in all that time of trauma, rape and oppression, some of those Africans took on the mantle of their Arab predators and started acting just like them. You might call it Stockholm Syndrome, except perhaps what the Arabs did to African cultures has been a lot worse than the simple reference to, well, at least until recently, one of the most civilised cities in the world. Perhaps we should just call it generational derangement syndrome, where abducted, raped and imprisoned women, already traumatised by a brutal kidnapping and then a life of solitary confinement and rape, bring into the world the next generation of disturbed children who themselves become psychologically unbalanced, children ready to continue the mission of their psychopathic fathers. And here we see the results going on in Nigeria right now. It's a terrible tragedy. Just look at this. And people are dancing in the streets to the sound of drums, shouting out, "Free Palestine." How about freeing some other people? Or doesn't Africa actually count in their limited universe? Okay, till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.